Imagine if you are faced by two choices. The first choice is that you must jump into a fire and burn to death. The second choice is to fight the man who's forcing you to jump into the fire. This man is armed. He's having a knife. He's having a bomb. He's having a gun. And he's ordering you to jump into the fire. When you jump into the fire, you're going to be burned. You're going to be burned alive. You're going to suffer the greatest pain that a human being can go through. You're going to be cooked alive. Just imagine the heat. Just imagine the pain that is going through, ripping through your heart as you are stepping on the hot coals. Just imagine you are on hot embers. It's hot. You are burning alive. The skin is burning. Your eyes are popping out. Your tongue is dry. Your throat is so dry. It's as if you are eating the fire. Your brain feels like it's going to explode. Your hair is in flame. This is the pain that you are going to go through before you die. But if you fight this man who is forcing you to go jump into the fire, he will shoot you, then you are gone. Maybe without feeling a pain. He will bomb you, then you just explode without feeling the pain. He will stab you. Are you going to accept the slow, painful death of the fire, or the quick death of being attacked by this man? What are you going to do? Because the whole world is faced with this choice. Employment is fire. Employment is slow death. When we are employed, we are suffering a slow death. We die in poverty. We die excruciating death. We die of sickness. You die being homeless. You die being hungry. You die being thirsty. You die on the street like a dog. It is slow. Employment is a slow death. But the other choice is to stand up and fight the employer and aim to destroy to die quickly or to destroy the employer. This is what the people of the Arabs, the choice that they faced by the Arabs, by the Muslims of Iraq and Syria. There's a choice between them: a slow death of employment, of being employees, or a quick death of fighting the employer. And the employer is America and Europe. That is why they form ISIS. In every continent, in Africa, there's a choice between being employees or forming ISIS. In Europe, there's a choice between forming ISIS, creating ISIS, Islamic State, a free state, or it may be Islamic State, it may be Christian state. As long as a free state is a state where there is equal ownership, or standing up to the employer who is the capitalist. You create your own ISIS, or you submit to the employer and jump into the fire, because being employed is to jump into the fire. It is slow death, slow excruciating death. In America, people are faced with the two choices: it's either to form ISIS or to jump into the fire. In Asia, people are faced with two choices: it's either to form ISIS or to jump into the fire. So what do you choose? Are you choosing to jump into the fire, or are you choosing to form ISIS? Because that is the two choices that we have. It's either when you form ISIS, you stand up you fight the employers. You create your own state where there is equal ownership, or you submit to the employers and be slaves and die a slow death. You jump into the fire. That is a choice that is faced by every human being alive today. That is the choice that will be faced by all people who live from now onward. You form your own Christian state of South Africa. You form your own Christian Buddha state of China, your own Buddhist state of China. You form your own state, whatever religion you believe you fall under, as long as in that state there is equal ownership. That is the choice. When you create equal ownership and fire the employers. You form your own ISIS. You are resisting. You are refusing to jump into the fire. You are resisting slow death. You are resisting poverty. Today, people of Africa are faced with the choice to form your own ISIS or to jump into the fire and die a slow death. People of Europe are facing the choice to form ISIS or to resist employment system or to jump into the fire and be employees and die a slow death. People of Australia are faced with the same choice to form their own ISIS, to resist employment system, to create a state of equal ownership or to jump into the fire and die a slow death by submitting to employment system. Today, people of New Zealand are faced with the same choice. It's either they form their own Islamic state of New Zealand and stand up to employment system and fight employers and create a state where there is equal ownership, or they must jump into the fire and die a slow, excruciating death of being slaves or being employees, where you die hungry, you die being sick, you die in poverty. The whole world is faced with two choices. It's either you jump into the fire and die a slow death, or you stand up with employers, you reject employment system, and you form your own ISIS, you form your own Christian state, you form your own Buddhist state, you form your own free state, you form your own, you create your own, the state of equal ownership, or you suffer agonizing death, a slow excruciating death of being employees under employment system. There is two choices today. The people of Iraq and Syria have decided to form ISIS and stand up against capitalist exploitation, stand up against capitalist employment. They don't want to be slaves anymore. All whereas the choice is two. It's either you submit to be employees, to be slaves, and die slow, excruciating death. It's either you jump, which is to jump into the fire, or you resist going to the fire and fight. The man is ordering to go into the fire by forming your own state, which is equal ownership state. The choice is two: equal ownership or employment, ISIS or slavery and poverty, ISIS or fire, freedom or fire, freedom or poverty, freedom or slow excruciating death, equal opportunity, equal ownership or slow excruciating death of poverty under employment system.